Love you too. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you all so much for having me back. I want to acknowledge my dear friend from the free state of Liberty County, Georgia. My colleague, we sat next to each other in the front row in the General Assembly, most of which was trying to keep him from saying the wrong thing out loud. Representative Al Williams, will you please rise? Vicki acknowledged Julie Jordan, and I thank Julie for all of her years of service. But my first visit to Glynn County came about because I had the distinct honor of meeting Audrey Gibbons. And I made the grave mistake of saying, just invite me. I've never been able to leave. When I met, okay, don't worry. When I had the privilege of meeting Audrey back in 2011, it was after I had become the Democratic leader. The job that I'd taken on happened at a time when Democrats were at our nadir. We had, in the 2010 election, lost every statewide office. We had gone within 3 of a supermajority for Republicans in the Senate, and we were doing only a little bit better in the House. The day I stood for leader, you have to go to the well and make a speech to your colleagues and ask for their votes. And what I said to my colleagues at the time was, look, I've been a minority for a really long time. I am very good at it. And where we were in that moment was that we weren't in the pinnacle of power that Democrats had enjoyed for more than 130 years. We were at a place we'd never been before. We were near the bottom. But the thing about the bottom is there's nowhere to go but up. And so in 2011, when I stood and had the opportunity to become the leader, I wrote up a little plan. A plan that said that I think within 10 years, Georgia was going to be a gorgeous shade of blue. I appreciate you clapping because nobody believed me. But part of getting things done is having faith when no one else does. It's believing what is possible, not what is already accomplished. And what Glynn County Democrats do year in and year out is prove that everything is possible. So thank you for who you are and what you do. You see, it was Glynn County Democrats who stood up in the face of those who were going to try to erode our waterways. When folks tried to strip us of our values that we believe in the environment and we believe the environment needs us, Glynn County Dems led the way. It was this region of the state that helped show the rest of us what we needed to do to protect one another. And whether it was protecting each other from ravaging our communities, waterways, and our greenways, or the horrific sacrifice of one of our own, Glynn County has said, we will not stand idly by and let someone take our life, our liberty, and our future. That is what Glynn County Dems do, and that is what Democrats do across the state. You see, we live in a time, Pastor, you mentioned the divisions. Well, I'd like to point out that often these divisions are ones of false choices. That we have to decide between justice and safety. That we have to decide between prosperity and progress. That we have to decide between equity and equality. I'm here to tell you we can have all of the above all at the same time. We just have to demand it from our leaders and demand it from ourselves. We can have safety. We deserve communities that are not ravaged by crime and by guns and by drugs and by misinformation and by miscommunication. We deserve to have safety. We deserve to have those who are willing to protect us, and they deserve our respect, and they deserve good wages, and they deserve to do the job that they have stood to do. But we also deserve justice. We deserve to have district attorneys who actually prosecute crimes when they happen. We deserve to have district attorneys who have the discretion to say that this is someone who can make a better day if we give them another chance. And we deserve to have DAs that are not managed by the governor of Georgia, but by the people of their counties. We deserve to have justice and safety. We can have prosperity and have progress. There are those who would argue that prosperity means that we sacrifice our workers on the altar of the dollar. But the thing is, when you spread wealth, wealth grows and wealth multiplies. You don't have to strip workers of their dignity to give them opportunity. You see, when people have a chance to make more, they tend to do more, they tend to serve more, and we all tend to have more. We can have prosperity and progress in the state of Georgia. Because prosperity is not just about how much money we can put in our pockets. It's being able to spend those dollars with our friends and our neighbors. It's being able to make choices about what we do with our families. And we can have prosperity by guaranteeing that others have progress. We can have prosperity not by hoarding money in the coffers of the state, but by expanding Medicaid in the state of Georgia. That is how we have prosperity and progress. And when they are attacking those in the state of Georgia like the Fearless Fund that are doing nothing more than trying to invest in black women, trying to build businesses for their communities, we should stand up and say, Governor, defend prosperity by standing up for progress. That is the responsibility we have in the state of Georgia. Because it comes down to whether we believe in equity or equality, and I would tell you I believe in both. I grew up in a community a little like Brunswick. We had this gorgeous vista in front of us. We called it the Gulf of Mexico. We were really clever because it was Gulfport, a port on the Gulf of Mexico. But what I understood growing up there, because when I could look out and see the water, I could also look over and see Beauvoir, the last home of Jefferson Davis. If you don't know who Jefferson Davis was, you clearly did not go to school in the South. But what I grew up understanding was that this home was a monument to someone who did not believe in equality. He did not believe in equity. And unfortunately, we continue to have this vestige that says that equality means everyone gets the same thing. And equity means that no one gets to get a little bit more so they can catch up. But we live in a moment where we've got to stop telling ourselves lies about what we've done and tell ourselves the truth about who we can be. We deserve to have equity. There are those who've been pushed not from the starting line. They weren't even told when the race was. We've got the responsibility to guarantee equity, to guarantee that no matter where you start, you have a fair shot at getting ahead. But we also have to believe in equality. That those, no matter what their differences are, we are all Americans and we are all entitled to all of the perquisites of our Constitution. That equality doesn't mean that we are diminished because of who we love, who we are, the color of our skin. We have to believe that equity and equality can exist together because that's the only way we've ever moved forward as a nation. That is how we move forward together. We have the right to dismiss false choices, but we have the responsibility to make it happen. And how do we do that? We do what Glynn County showed us how to do in 2021 when an egregious and evil murder happened in this community. You see, Glynn County could have just stayed silent like so many communities do. When something horrific happens, we turn our heads hoping that no one sees us not looking. But Glynn County, you looked dead in the eye of evil and you said, we will speak up and speak out and show up, and justice was done. We cannot stay silent, we must speak up. And while the tragic murder of Ahmaud Arbery may have worked its way through the courts, what precipitated that murder remains in the veins of this place. And so it is our responsibility to continue to speak up. We can't wait for these tragedies to happen. We've got to speak up before they become so. We have the responsibility to speak up because staying silent is not only complicity, it is agreement. When you let evil happen around you and you say nothing, you are saying more than you ever intended. So I need everyone to agree to speak up. Say, speak up. Speak up. Our second responsibility is that too often we capitulate. We give in to the inertia of the moment. It's always been this way, therefore it will always be this way. But I don't believe in inertia. I keep moving. Because I know that by giving in, I am giving up. But instead of giving in and giving up, I believe in action. We have got to take action every day to make something better. Everyone say, take action. Take action. We have got to stop waiting for someone to come save us and save ourselves. And that is what the Glynn County Dems are here for. Because we know what we believe and we know who we are. Now it is time to take action and get good done. Are you with me? We can take action to say to those who are down the street in McIntosh County, you're not by yourself. We see what they're trying to do to the Geechee. We see what they're trying to do to you, and we are coming for you. We are going to take action. It may not be in my backyard, but if they can get you, they're coming for me next. We have the responsibility to speak up when we see evil happen, but we also have the responsibility to take action when good needs to be done. And we are at a fraught moment where everyone is so worried about the problems they have. They ignore the troubles that are visiting their friends. But the thing is, trouble is contagious. It multiplies. And when you're silent, it thinks you're inviting it in. And when you give in, it thinks it's welcome to stay. We have the responsibility in this next year to take up arms against a sea of troubles. And by opposing in them, and lest anyone think I'm making that up, that came from Shakespeare. You see, what he was saying is that too often we give ourselves permission to give in and give up. But that when we want to see change, we take up arms, we lift ourselves up, even if we are weary and tired and broken, that we are not beaten until we refuse to move. And so Glynn County, as we watch what is happening to our state, as we see troubles multiplying, we can take up arms against that sea of troubles, and by opposing in them, because we are going to do what? We're going to take action. Say, take action. Take action. And last but not least, we're going to bring friends. Say, bring friends. Bring friends. So often we feel alone in our worries. We don't mind telling everybody on Facebook about it, but we don't necessarily tell one another about what we need. We mutter to ourselves about how no one came to help us. We chatter to our neighbors to the north or to the east about something that went wrong, but we never took the time to tell the person who could have done something about it what we needed done. But see, friendship is about asking for what you need when you need it. And you're guaranteed to get it if you did it when they needed it too. Friendship isn't a one-way street, it is a circle. And the circle that is Glynn County has come together time and again to serve one another, but you've got to do it one more time. We cannot, it's not about being enemies. It's about being isolated. You see, when someone's your enemy, you know what's wrong. You know what you're going to get. But when you're isolated, when you are distanced, you don't think anyone cares, anyone sees, anyone can dream with you. But by bringing friends together, by bringing community together, by bringing Democrats together, we are building an army of good that can defeat every evil, every ill, and every challenge that we see. In Glynn County Dems, there is a storm coming in 2024. There is a storm coming, and it will not find us isolated and alone. If you do what I know you can do, we will stand against that storm. We will return Joe Biden to the White House, and we will return order to our country, and we will restore who we are and what we can be. But there's a storm coming, and we've got to be together. We've got to talk to those who didn't know they should be here tonight. You see, we've got to stop treating voting like it is magic, like it's something we do once a year. Voting isn't magic, voting is medicine. And the ills that assail us aren't going anywhere unless we take that medicine over and over and over again. And I know the folks assembled here know you've got to vote in local elections coming up in November. But my question is, who have you talked to who doesn't know that? Who have you talked to who doesn't realize that by voting in those local elections, they can change the very troubles that they have on the ground? And when you talk to them about voting, it's not lecturing them about not voting. It's about being a friend to them. It's about saying, friend, I see your trouble and I'm going to tell you who can help us fix it. But I'm not sending you to get it done by yourself. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to take you to the polls, and then I'm going to take you to City Hall, and then I'm going to take you to the County Commission, and then I'm going to take you to the Capitol, and then we're going to take our state where it deserves to be, because we are friends rising together. We are friends speaking up together. We are friends taking action together. In Glynn County, if we do that, we are going to rise together. We are going to win together, and we are going to get it done together. Thank you so much.